Hi, what's up, y'all? It's popping in deep. I'll react to this vid by Tough. It's titled The Dangerous World of Dark Web Criminals. Okay, I haven't reacted to Tough in a minute. So yeah, we're gonna see just how dangerous this world gets and what's on here. Let's watch. Why are we watching this little kitty?
The dark web. It's been around for years and still thrives on the same old principles of secrecy and sinister activities. To a regular person, the dark web is a dangerous place that might not be worth exploring or has too many rumors attached to it to make anyone want to check it out any further. However, there are some people who have made it their entire home, dancing in the shadows and flourishing lawlessness and illicit activities. That is, until they get caught.
I tried to access the dark web once, just out of curiosity, but it felt too sinister, so I just immediately deleted everything on my computer associated with it. I'm like, somebody probably trying to hack me right this second. Let me get up out of here. So I got too scared.
And today, we're taking a look at dark web criminals who weren't as discreet as they claimed to be. What sort of things did they do? Who snitched on them? Are they still in jail? Well, let's get right into the video. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. First thing I want to say is thank you guys so much for the support on the creepypasta video. That video, it's been a day since I uploaded it. I uploaded it yesterday and it's at 400,000 views, so thank you guys so much. It's clear you guys like the hour-long videos. That was an experiment for me. It was either going to flop or do amazing, and it's doing amazing. So seriously, thank you guys. Thank you to the new subscribers. As I guess a little announcement right here, we are going to make a lot more hour-long plus videos, so get ready for that. We're not starting yet. I still have backed up videos. For example, this is a backed up video. Yes, that sounds weird.
I don't know if I can react.
You guys know what I mean. But yeah, the gears are shifting and we're
That's a great video. Let me know if y'all seen it, if it's worth watching.
Long video, but more of them. So thank you guys so much for the support on that video. Yeah, and this one might be a little bit shorter, especially we're going to be comparing it to hour-long videos now, but I just want to let you know it's going to be a mix, but there's going to be more hour-long videos. That's really it. Let's get right into the topic. Alexander Cases, aka Alpha 02. There's no better way to start our list than focusing on the biggest of them all. I'm talking about a man who for years was simply known by the username Alpha 02 to both authorities and users of the dark web. And no, he wasn't your typical small-time criminal. He was in fact the one who oversaw the millions of dollars in daily online narcotic sales. Detectives considered him a public enemy, and although chasing him for a while, it remained a total mystery. Law enforcement agents from around the world, in a coordinated effort, had been hunting for Alpha 02, who they believed was running the biggest digital drug and crime marketplace known as Alphabet. Now, if you already don't know, the dark web has a bunch of websites dedicated to the selling of illegal drugs and other illegal stuff. By the way, if you want to be more educated on the dark web, I'll have a playlist linked up there, so go check that out after this one. By the way, here's a hint. A future 1-hour video will be about the dark web. These marketplaces are what allow most of the illegal activity to take place, and therefore, they're often on the radar of law enforcement. So, owning and operating a dark web marketplace puts you right on the most wanted list. Thus, Alpha 02's crime, to put it plainly, was owning and operating Alphabet, and hence facilitating thousands of product listings, mainly drugs, from ecstasy to opioids to meth, but also stolen data, most likely credit card details and social security numbers. For perspective, while some dark web marketplaces had a few hundred or thousand listings, Alphabet, as of 2015, had over 21,000 illegal products listed and over 200,000 users. The man was indeed very rich. It's no wonder that, as Wired reported, among digital crime investigators, Alpha 02's notoriety was like that of Osama bin Laden. How was he arrested? Well, when the market was new, he made a critical, almost laughable security mistake. At the time, whenever a new member joined the market, they would receive a welcome email from pimp_alex_91@hotmail.com. The email could be seen in plain text due to a misconfiguration of the Tor server. One of the users who received this email archived it for 2 years and, believe it or not, later handed it to law enforcement agents as a tipster. We don't know why he ratted out Alpha 02, but that was the beginning of everything unraveling. So yeah, like I said before, agents had been looking for him for 2 years, and it just so happened that someone snitched on him. So when the email landed on their desks, they dug and rummaged all around the internet to try to find who it belonged to. Soon enough, they found out it appeared on a French social media site, skyrock.com. Alex, the owner of the email, had posted photos of himself on the site in 2008 and 2009. The same email led the cops to a dating site where Alex listed his hometown, Troy River, yeah, I'm not gonna pronounce that, in the French-Canadian province of Quebec. His age was 17 at the time the profile was made, so the cops believed the 91 on his email represented his birth year. This seemed implausible until they found the same person on a French tech forum, comment Mark. Again, I don't know how to pronounce that, where his real name, Alexander Cases, alongside the username Alpha 02, and his email address was listed. He had explained how to remove a virus from an image, and searching him on LinkedIn, they realized the grown-up Alex was likely their man, as he advertised himself as a freelance web programmer and founder of a hosting and web design company, EVX Technologies. As they dug through his social media, the cops found his fiancée, Sunisa Tapsuan, on Facebook. That's how they knew where he was. Bangkok, Thailand. 26-year-old Canadian had relocated halfway across the world to evade law enforcement. The only problem is that Thailand has been a hub for U.S. law enforcement agents for years, as far back as 1973. And given how much effort the agents had put in to find this guy, what did they do? Right, they packed their stuff, sought help from the FBI, and headed down to Thailand. They sought the help of Thai authorities authorities, and together they created a well-thought-out scheme to arrest Alex. They faked a minor car accident at his gate to get him out of the house, and made sure they got to his workstation before it locked them out with a password. Now, this does seem extra, but in the eyes of the law, it would be more plausible to stick the mountain of evidence they already had against him if they found him hands-on doing the illegal activity. They needed to have access to his PC while it was still logged into Alphabet's admin account and other related accounts, including cryptocurrency exchanges. So, on the morning of July 5th, 2017, a Royal Thai police agent nicknamed Nguyen drove a gray Toyota Camry right into the quiet and wealthy neighborhood on the western edge of the city where Alex resided. Beginning to be an inexperienced driver, she faked a 3-point turn after telling the security guard that she was lost. While reversing, she intentionally slammed the car into Alexander's front gate. As a normal person would, Alex runs out once he gets a glimpse of what's happening, and while at the gate, other officers who were waiting nearby move in to arrest him. He attempts to run back inside, but he's overpowered. The investigators found his unlocked laptop in the bedroom and managed to retrieve a list of passwords to the Alphabet website and servers. They put together the remaining pieces in their puzzle, and overall, at the time, it was estimated that Alex was worth about $23 million distributed in houses, a Thai hotel, luxury cars, cryptocurrency, and more. He was taken in custody, and just a week later, in a rather dramatic ending, it was reported that he took his own life while in custody. His fiancée was charged with money laundering. On July 20th, 2017, U.S. authorities announced the takedown of Alphabet, a resounding success against illegal activities. Then, in an interesting twist, 5 years after its owner got arrested and died, Alphabet was back in business, growing faster than before. Perhaps, as Alpha O2 had mentioned in an interview with Vice, courts can stop a man, but they can't stop an ideology. Darknet markets will always be around until the war on drugs stops.
Damn.
Bin Tan Le. If this is your first time learning about the dark web, then you might be a little bit confused on how it operates. Like, how are people able to get away with so much? And you probably have other questions like, how would drug dealers use Alphabet? How do they get their products to users? Where do they get caught shipping drugs back and forth between states and cities? Well, hold tight, because this next story answers all those questions. We're looking at a guy named Bin Tan Le, who formed a reputation as the Ecstasy Kingpin. Actually, this case isn't just about Bin Tan Le, but rather a trio, the two others being Alante Pyers, 22, and Stephen Nicole, 23. It's only that Bin Tan Le, who we will refer to as just Le for the rest of this video, got a bigger charge than the other two guys, and so the case is mostly associated with him. So, what happened? Well, based on a press release from the Department of Justice, they got indicted in federal court on charges of conspiring to manufacture and distribute controlled substances. The three men were arrested in Brockton, Massachusetts on the charge of selling significantly large amounts of drugs, including MDMA, ketamine, Xanax, and cocaine to users via dark web marketplaces. So they were basically marketing a large drug dealing business on the dark web. Apparently, Le, 26 now, a resident.
I feel like that's so dumb, though. I feel like you have, even though the dark web is known to be a lot more anonymous, you still have law officials lurking through the dark web trying to catch criminals. So I just feel like that's so risky to even engage in criminal activity on the dark web. Like, wouldn't you have a better chance at not getting caught if you try to do it in person in real life? But I don't know.
Brockton had started the East Side High store on the Wall Street Market, an illegal dark web marketplace, when he was just 22, and he ran the store for a very short time. He created the Wall Street account on March 13, 2019, and got busted on March 25, 2019, but he already had 414 orders on his listings. Here, ketamine S isomer sugar 8+, here MDMA crystal, Villa plain, 250 milligrams. But this isn't to say that the store on Wall Street is the only operation he had, since his store, East Side High, was also on another dark web marketplace called Dream. So yeah, it was on another dark web marketplace called Dream, where it had already completed 360 transactions. Maybe he was even on more marketplaces, who knows? Also, it seems the operation was lucrative because at the time of his arrest, Le had about 59 Bitcoin, which law enforcement thought was worth about 2.3 million. It gained value up from the 200,000 it was worth when confiscated. For clarity, the dark web thrives on cryptocurrency as people pay vendors in coins, all thanks to the anonymity that's built into some of the cryptos we have around. He also had $114,000 in cash and another $42,000 from selling his 2018 BMW M3 competition. So he said he was doing pretty well for himself, but you have to consider that during his arrest, one website, darknetlive.com, reported that no vendor except Eastside High sells only MDMA and ketamine at anywhere near the same scale. So he was selling really large volumes to get that kind of money. In fact, when he got busted, the police found 44 pounds or 20 kilos of ecstasy, 15 pounds or 7 kilos of ketamine, and more than 10,000 Xanax pills. The companies were also doing well, as Alante Pye Byers, also 22, drove a 2017 Mercedes S550 worth about $97,000. So now let's talk about how the trio got caught. Well, it was due to how they moved the drugs. Their arrest was part of an investigation by federal agents assigned to the U.S. Postal Service and Staunton Police that had begun in January 2019. They had set up P.O. boxes using the fictitious names DeJour Cox and Dwayne Freeman, and they used them to send and receive packages. They would disguise the incoming drug supplies from distributors in the Netherlands, Belgium, and Canada by using descriptions like Robin's Office Supply or Lego Box for Kids. Unknown to them, one of their clients was an undercover agent. The agent had bought 5 ecstasy pills and Lay sent the packages via the USPS service. The police then trailed him, and from his dumpster near the office space he rented, they recovered a bag with 1,200 grams of ecstasy. At the same time, an undercover agent was wooing Lee to accept a potential Bitcoin for cash exchange. Lay needed to convert his 200,000 in Bitcoins to cash. They arranged a meeting at the Hampton Inn Hotel in Norwood. Other agents trailed Lay from his home, and he made a stop at his office where he exited with a money counter and then headed to the hotel. He got arrested after the transaction happened, together with Byers, who had been waiting in the car. Detectives also raided his office, where they arrested McCall. In the office space, they found 5,000 grams, which was 11 pounds of ketamine, an animal tranquilizer, 5,000 grams of ecstasy, packaging materials, 2 digital scales, 2 heat-sealing devices, a pill press, and $114,700 in cash. According to the Department of Justice's website, Lay was sentenced to 8 years in prison with an additional 3 years of supervised release and was required to forfeit his assets, the crypto, the cash, and all the other items that were found on him. Regarding the arrest, U.S. Attorney Raquel Rollins said this: "The dark web is a rising threat to our communities and must be taken very seriously. Anonymous networks open the door for people, including our children, to order deadly amounts of illegal narcotics from anywhere in the world and have them delivered to your doorsteps. This sentence sends a clear message to dark web criminals. The federal government is entering this space."
I mean, as they should.
Annie Nicole Ritter. You know, I mentioned before the lawlessness that comes with being on the dark web, and this next case is much darker than just selling drugs. This happened just a few years ago, when on June 23rd, 2021 and June 24th, 2021, a woman named Annie Nicole Ritter, who was 25 at the time, paid $3,200 in Bitcoin to a dark web website as a fee for murder facilitation. She paid someone on the dark web to kill a guy she was angry at. The incident took place in Culpeper, a small town of less than 21,000 people located about 45 miles northeast of Charlottesville. According to the Department of Justice, Ritter had visited the website, which advertises murder-for-hire services, and provided the details of the intended victim along with the payment. The website's homepage read, "We can kill any person you want, as long as it's not the president or a very important person that is guarded by the military." Court documents, as reported by the Miami Herald, also said that the website claimed it could make murders, quote, "look accidental," and listed other servings like kidnappings, arson, beatings, and more. In an affidavit submitted to the court, and what Ritter didn't know was that these services were never carried out, even after customers paid.
Yeah, that's the other risk that you take, even trying to buy anything on the dark web. Like, somebody can very easily scam you, and what the fuck you gonna do? It's not like you can report them or call their customer service line. Like, you're fucked. So you can pay thousands of dollars for drugs, guns, a murder, or whatever, and they're like, "Bitch, we got your money, fuck out of here."
Despite the website claiming thousands of happy customers recommended our products and services such as drugs, guns, assault, arson, and murder. And of course, thinking critically about it, who would even recommend this website to people? Like, how would it spread? Is that just self-snitching? You're gonna tell someone, "Yo, by the way, dude, let me just recommend you this website. I was able to get rid of my high school coach, you know?" Anyway, the website's admin, who called himself Juan, let Ritter know that they received the payment, then proceeded to create an account with the website a day later and put in an order for a hitman under the title "Shoot and Get Away." The instructions read, "I am just looking for a simple, quick job. The address of the person will be the best place to make the target, as it is his workplace. He works 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday." The court affidavit shows that she included a photo of the target, along with his work address and work hours, and even a description of his car, including license plate numbers. She really wanted this dude dead. She also added, "The date/time I mentioned will be the best time and place. I would say wait until he's off at 3, then make your move." So how was she arrested? Well, a few months later, FBI Knoxville got a tip about the whole transaction, and they in turn notified FBI Charlottesville, who then arrested Ritter on May 31st, 2023. Ritter pleaded guilty to a charge of using interstate commerce facilities and committing a murder for hire. She faces 35 to 87 months in prison. If the sentence seems surprisingly short, it's because the murder never took place. She would have definitely gotten away for good if there was a murder charge involved. I'll never understand the people that think you can actually hire hitmen on the dark web, though there are a lot of websites, and maybe there's one that was real and doesn't exist anymore, but for the most part, far, they are honeypots, and honeypots is just a term used for the FBI behind the account. You know, you've seen that meme with the cop behind the computer. It's like that. Like, there's a lot of FBI honeypots in the dark web, making it just more and more and more difficult for criminals to even use. But, you know, they just make their own servers and hang out there, and that's something us as normies will never get invited to. But yeah, let's head on to the next one. Eric Yoing Marquez. So far, we've talked about running a dark web marketplace, being a vendor, and procuring an illegal service. So what else? Well, how about offering the infrastructure that facilitates the dark web to exist in the first place? Yeah, that's very much a crime, and Eric Yoing Marquez, a dual citizen of the US and Ireland, who was next on our list, found out the hard way. If you don't already know, the dark web works very differently from the surface web in terms of computer architecture and all. However, both sides of the internet are similar in the sense that websites and their data have to be stored somewhere, and that's called the server. Now, server secrecy and anonymity are a big deal on the dark web because a single server could be hosting thousands of illegal activities spread across different marketplaces, and when authorities find a server and shut it down, they disrupt a large portion of the market as well as get access to the real identities of the people behind the dark web websites. Our guy Marquez ran such a business by offering an anonymous web hosting service called Freedom Hosting to dark web merchants. The service was home to drug markets, money laundering operations, hacking groups, and millions of images of child abuse. Yeah, that last bit. We're talking about CP. That's what really riled up the authorities. Court documents indicated that he ran the service between July 24th, 2008 and July 29th, 2013. The argument was that his service, quote, hosted websites that allowed users to view and share images documenting the of children, also violence and bestiality. So he had been charged as a facilitator of dark web CP, and on September 15th, 2021, he got sentenced to 27 years in federal prison and a lifetime supervision upon his release. Now, given the layers of secrecy that Marquez had implemented on Freedom Hosting, it became a hotly debated topic as to how law enforcement was able to unmask his identity. This especially because the FBI wasn't forthcoming with details on how exactly they did it, hence raising suspicion of illegality. As seen here, the original indictment only said the arrest was from an investigation in 2013. It's believed that the security agencies found a way to hack into Tor, the browser that's used to access the dark web, and didn't want to disclose that information. Of course, if they hacked Tor in order to arrest Marquez, the evidence would be disputed, and also, if they knew a hack that worked on Tor, they wouldn't want to share it as it would be useful in taking down other criminal networks. Ideally, Tor is supposed to bounce dark web traffic around to ensure anonymity for whoever uses it, and this isn't the first time US-based investigative agencies like the FBI have done this, refusing to disclose their methods. In 2017, they chose to let free a man accused of CP as opposed to revealing how they were able to locate the anonymous Tor user. Regarding the arrest and prosecution of Marquez, FBI Assistant Director Calvin Shivers said this: today's sentencing of Eric Marquez sends a clear message to perpetrators of this egregious crime that no matter where you are in the world, law enforcement will hold you accountable and bring you to justice.
Period.
J. Makai. Alright, so when we're talking about the dark web and illegal activities, there's a lot of CP. We're going to use that term, CP. I'm going to refer to that as cow poop, cat poop, whatever. But yeah, this last story is all about that, so I guess trigger warning if you don't want to hear about that. And I'm going to try to keep this very short and get to the point. I don't want to give any details about anything. So, J. Makai. He was arrested on July 13th, 2015 for allegedly downloading CP from the dark web after a massive operation. The operation was called Operation Pacifier, which was geared towards fighting against online child exploitation. This crime was already bad, but what's worse is that Makai was a teacher who had worked in Vancouver's public schools for about 20 years in different capacities, including teaching special education at Geyser Middle School. According to the FBI, Makai used an alias Pooter to sign on to Playpen, a CP network, towards the end of October 2014. His actions were deemed intentional, as only those who know of the existence of certain dark web websites, such as Playpen, can access them. The agents had captured his IP address during one of his login sessions, which they then submitted to his internet service provider, who was able to trace it back to his previous residence. However, before they could act, Makai disconnected his account at the previous residence and moved away to a new place. All unintentional, as he didn't know he was being investigated. Still, the ISP traced his new residence, an apartment complex. After, he reconnected the account. The FBI agents then raided his home, and they ended up finding a hard drive full of these horrible images. And I can't even say this on YouTube, but the closest I guess I could tell you guys is that reminds me of it is like that one horrible, I think it's the first scene from Human Centipede 2, but like, it's bad, like, so bad. Given the nature of the crime, it seems straightforward that he would just be taken to court and jailed, right? Well, wrong. Turns out that when the FBI refused to say how they were able to capture and unmask his IP address, the evidence they offered held no ground. As Makai's lawyers, Colin Feynman and Linda Sullivan, said, the government has now made plain that the FBI will not comply with the court's discovery order. Consequences are straightforward. The prosecution must now choose between complying with the court's discovery order and dismissing the case. And in a rather bitter twist, the FBI chose to forego the case against Makai. Zero legal consequences. We can only guess that the prosecution's argument must have been that it would be better to keep the malware code they used to hack Tor as a secret, as it would enable them to pursue more criminals and probably bigger cases. But still, letting such a sick and corrupted individual be free is horrible.
He works in education.
Alright guys, thank you so much.
Oh, that's sick. Yeah, the dark web is fucking sick. I don't want no parts. I don't recommend. And like I said, this was years ago where I was curious and I'm just like, what's on here? Like, I'll be hearing stuff about it. This is before I even started watching any of these tub videos or knowing like the details of how heinous it gets on there. I was just curious. But like I said, once I finally got on, I was just like, I don't like this. I don't like how it's like super old school, like, as well. When you go on certain websites, they are very, they're not like, it's not like regular websites. Like, I don't know. It just has a very old, creepy, sinister vibe. I just didn't like it. It made me feel icky. And I didn't even see anything. You know, I didn't even see anything on it. I just got out of it. I forgot what I even looked up, but I think I Googled like some dark web websites and I was able to find some, but I just was like, oh, I don't like this, and I did. But yes, don't recommend. People are weird. Y'all let me know what y'all think though. Let me know what other videos you want me to watch, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.